is Mr. Bhushan Yengade. He is going to talk about bridging the gap between Indian farmers and food processing industries. He is serving as he was associated with the Maharashtra Agro Industry Development Corporation Limited. Just to give you a brief more detail about our guest speaker, Mr. Bhushan Yengade is trained as a food technologist at Marathwada Agricultural University in India and the University of Reading, United Kingdom. He has worked in the new product development, quality, technical and project division of food processing industry. He has extensive industrial experience in the private and public sectors of India. As a food consultant, in the Binder Technology Consultancy, he is proficient in project management, food safety, European food laws, risk analysis. He is also responsible for detailed project reports, strategic market research, policy analysis, and sensory evaluation studies. His advisory consultancy on Europe, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa has influenced global supply chain. Bhushan is involved in providing technical assistance to farmer to increase the level of food processing, reduction of wastage and value addition. He is also a FSSAI certified trainer. Similarly, he also conducted training programs to name a few World Banks, World Trade Centers, MSME, etc. So ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands for Mr. Bhushan Yengade. Please sir, come on the dais. He is going to speak on bridging the gap between Indian farmer and food processing industries.
And how to go ahead? I have
This is not the PPT, right?
Hello, conference. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here for this particular presentation, and thank you, 7th World Tea and Coffee Expo, for having me here. The legends of tea, coffee, and food processing industry. Thank you so much for your exuberance and profound interest to be here on this particular session on bridging the gap between Indian farmers and the food processing industry. This is particular scene from one of the food processing industry, and this is how you will see and find the countryside food processing here, food processing industries in India, lush green, weather and blue sky, and all food processing industries. And if you look at the food processing industry scenario, I'll enroute my presentation from food processing industry to the farmers, followed by how the government of India is bridging the gap between the food processing industry and the farmers in particular. If you look at the food industry scenario in India, you'll find that the paddy is one of the second largest. India is second largest producer of paddy in the world. It contributes around 21.65% of global share, followed by the pulses sector. India ranks first in the pulses sector, and India contributes around 21.75% globally, followed by wheat, maize, sugarcane, and groundnut is one of the enriching produce of Indian food processing industry. If you go further, then India is known for its fruits and vegetables. India ranks second in fruits and vegetable sector both. It is very important to note that India has around share of 12.45% of fruits here, and India also contributes around 10.6% of the global share in the vegetable sector. More importantly, the potato and onion is one of the largest sole commodity across globe, and India holds around 11.60% of potato share in the globe. And similarly, the onion is one of the largest sole commodity, and perhaps that's why we can see a large number of the cash flow going into the onion sector in India. If we focus particularly in the livestock market of Indian food processing industry, you will find that the cattle sector, the cattle, the buffalo, the goats, chicken, camel, and sheep, these are prominent produce, prominent livestock produce of India, and India has around 50% of global buffaloes. That's why the milk production in India is high. This is about the Indian milk and egg market outlook, and India ranks first in milk sector. India contributes around 20% of milk to the globe, followed by India is also accounts for around 5% of global egg share. And very important from this particular seventh tea and coffee conference point of view, that India ranks second in tea production. That is that India contributes around 21.64% of tea to the globe, and India ranks seventh in the coffee production too. It is around 3.73. And I need not say that that's why we all are here, and that's why we can see large number of population, and that's why we can see the enriching 7th World Tea and Expo. This is very important from the food processing point of view. If we just focus on the gross value added by particularly by the food processing industry sector, you will find that the data that I have is from 2011-12 to 2016-17. This is one of the latest data that I have. And according to this National Account Statistics 2018 data, the gross value added by the food processing industry has been really growing. And similarly, agriculture, forestry, and fishery sector are really enhancing, and that's why India is one of the thriving economy into the food processing sector. The inflation is very important to survive in the global market for any country. And in case of India, if you look at the food particles and the food articles and the food products inflation, you will see that there is constant up and down, but it is, you can see and you can observe that both the food product scenario has been really constant, and it has been really growing, and it is really growing for any kind of vibrant economy. The food farmers, I mean Indian farmers, if I particularly say, what Indian farmers have been growing into their agricultural fields is very important for any kind of food processing industry. And if you particularly look into the, this is data of 2017, and this is data of 2017-18 from the Directorate of Economics and Statistics, you will find that the Indian farmers have been consistently growing the rice and wheat. But if you'll further analyze, you'll find that the nutri-cereals production has been really, it is declining. Similarly, the pulses production has been increasing in India, and that's why India is one of the largest producer of pulse in the globe. At the same time, the oilseed has been declining, and the sugarcane production has been declining in India. So this is very important, that how our farmers are growing. It's very important. Similarly, if you look at the horticultural data and the food production data of India, the both data have been clearly indicates that India is one of the vibrant economy, and in the production, I'm saying, not into the food processing, but in terms of production, Indian food processing industry has been consistently growing. This is data of 2004-5, and if you just look at the horticultural production, that is fruits and vegetable produce that is done by farmers, you'll find that in 2004-5, the data that we, the amount that we had of around 167 million tons. And if you'll just focus on the 2017-18, that is after 10 years perhaps, the observed data was 307 million tons. So the horticultural data, the fruits, vegetable, has doubled in India. So it's very important to that the production or the processing of the fruits and vegetable processing is very important sector from the food technology point of view. And there's this kind of projected production of rice, wheat, and nutricose grains in India, and it is consistently growing. Well, it is something very important how data has been evolving and how data has been consistently growing. But it's very important here, particularly in this particular conference, to note that how much we pay to our agricultural laborers. And this is average daily wage rate of male and female male and female field laborers. And this is very interesting to note that currently the per day wage for the female in India is rupees 228, and the average wage for the male is 296. So and further I would like to scrutinize it, and further I would like to say the more scrutiny will give the whole data that how the female laborers are paid in India. There is a lot of gender gap in India in terms of male and female payments. And if you look into the data of the female laborers data, you will find that they are female. I can see that Kerala is one of the top states to pay in a huge amount to the female laborers. That is, it is average. It's average 455 rupees. And similarly, like followed by, I can see Haryana and Chhattisgarh are prominent states in agricultural wage payment to the females. Well, again, I would like to compare this data to the male laborers, male skilled laborers in India. And you'll again find that Kerala is again one of the prominent states, and the wage of the agricultural labor might go up to 787 rupees per day. Similarly, same with Haryana and again Uttarakhand are really very, very prominent states for the gender gap. I mean, how the male laborers are being paid there. But same thing. I would like to take back my slide again, and I would like to say that the Maharashtra state, I mean, we are in the city of Mumbai here, and it is supposed to be one of the financially vibrant city, and it is the state of the Maharashtra is the capital of India, Maharashtra. And you will find that the wages that is being paid to the female laborer is only 90 rupees in average, that I'm saying. Well, it is very important that how we are contributing to the GVA, that is it has been consistent in agriculture, forestry, and fishery in India. But for any kind of thriving economy, it's very important how the import and export is increasing. So if you can see that both imports and export both has been increasing in India consistently since 2010 to 2017-18. That's the latest data that I have. But I guess the 2013 and 14 was one of the epic period for India, and that was perhaps the epitome for the Indian exports and import sector, and that indicates that Indian food processing economy is one of the vibrant and it is one of the good for investment if the import and exports both are equally growing. Again, we have seen, like how is our agricultural sector here, how is our food processing sector here, and how much we pay to the our laborers. But like I just got this FAO data, that is Food and Agriculture Organization's data, and according to which globally the post-harvesting losses into the dairy sector are around 20%. That's really very huge. And if particularly we look into the data of the meat sector, again, the meat industry, the data that we put into the meat sector, the losses of meat industry are around 20% again. Same with oil and pulses industry. We have again 20% of post-harvesting losses across globe. Again, in the cereal processing sector, 30%. Fish and seafood industry, the losses across globe are 35%. Well, but more than that, if you I just said that, like in India, the fruits and vegetable sector is really growing. And if you particularly look into the data of FAO, perhaps from the global point of view, then you will find that there are around 45% of post-harvesting losses into the roots and tubers, and similarly into the fruits and vegetable sector too. That means we are making a loss of total 50% of agricultural produce. And it is really making a negative impact on our economy. Especially in India, if you particularly focus, in India, the post-harvesting losses, agricultural supply chain study was carried out by the CIFED, that is Central Institute of Post-Harvest Engineering and Technology. I'm also a product of that institute. I also did my research over there during my undergraduation, and they carried out this. They assessed around 45 agricultural produce, and according to which they discovered, according to their assessment, the loss that we make into our economy every year is rupees 92,651 crore rupees. That's very huge. Well, very important subject for this conference point of view, the farmer suicide in India. Recently, just before a few weeks, the government of India released the data of the farmer suicide, and according to National Crime Records Bureau, Maharashtra is again one of the leader. I mean, it's one of the saddest things that's happening in the state of Maharashtra. If I would like to redirect the data, I would say that in 2014, India lost, around 4,004 farmers did suicide. And same, if I would like to say about 2016, 3,661 farmer carried suicide. And same with, similar situation in Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and the state of Chhattisgarh. If I would like to interpret this data, I would like to say that every month around 948 farmers are carrying out suicide, and that is on daily basis. 31 farmers are suiciding every day, according to the National Crime Records Bureau. Well, it's very important what exactly the government has been doing, and it's very important how we are contributing, and how the government is bridging the gap into the food processing sector and the farmers. Well, every government has a mandate to do, and for making at all levels, government announces their welfare schemes for cross sections of the society from time to time. And in India, the Ministry of Food Processing Industries is one of the prominent body for providing the financial assistance to the farmers and the investors in India. Well, there are a few more schemes. there's a scheme of creation and expansion of food processing and preservation capacities. Here, the grant is given at about 35% in general areas, and in hilly and backward regions and northeast region, the 50% grant is given. The maximum grant given by the Ministry of Food Processing Industries rupees 5 crore. Well, again, in the cold chain scheme, this is particularly for the milk sector, the dairy sector, the organic produce sector. Here again, same thing, around 35% grant is given, and 50% is grant given in backward, hilly, and northeast region of India. And the very important thing that I would like to say that that around the maximum limits that government gives as a subsidy is around rupees 10 crore. Well, again, this is again same as a agro-food processing cluster scheme. Here, the government is trying to save and reduce the post-harvesting losses. That means from farm to fork, right from pre-cooling, then waxing, to your storing, the weighing, to your market, to packing, grading, all kind of financial assistance is given by the government of India. And in this particular scheme, you need to have around at least 5 food processing unit, and the grant given by the government of India is rupees 5 CR. Again, the last thing that I would like to say, that the mega food park is one of the kind of, I just feel that this is kind of the village created by the Ministry of Food Processing India, to where all farmers can go and put their products and get it processed. So it is connecting the farmers, then the processors and the market. It's really important how the government has been doing. So it's very important that government is bridging the gap between the food processing industry and the farmers. We at the Binder Technology Consultancy, right from making the project report to the entire doing the project manage, we also have been doing the market surveys across globe. We have carried out the market survey in Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and in European countries as well. And that is very important for anyone who would like to step into the food processing market. I just would like to say thank you so much, everyone, for your profound interest to having listened to my presentation. Thank you so much.
Hello. So thank you very much for sharing the insights with us. We thank Mr. Bhushan, sir. Ma'am, please be on stage. We have the other guest speaker, Mr. Bhushan Yengade. He spoke on topic, bridging the gap between Indian farmers and food processing industry. We thank you very much, sir, for your presence here and enlightening with the information. Thank you for your presence.